You know, every year I do this save, I think to myself, Proudy, you cannot be worse than the last series that you've done. Every time that I do this series, it seems to get worse every time. But we hit the bottom at Huddersfield. Surely it can't get worse than that. And yet I've done this save with 3 episodes in. I'm losing my fucking mind. I just can't fathom the fact that I am still winless so far this season. I'm the only team in the Premier League without a point on the board. How have I somehow managed to achieve that so far? I mean, it's not like the run of games that I've had is even that hard anyway. In the last episode, we took on West Ham United at home in a game that we needed to win, and we ended up losing by 2-0, which was our 6th straight defeat at the start of the season. It hasn't really been a great start. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've tried to sugarcoat it, but there's not really any way of sugarcoating 6 defeats in a row from the start of the season. Now, we've only played 1 game in between the West Ham United game and the Brighton game that we focus on in this episode, and we took on Watford at home, and after holding them for 72 minutes, Abdoulaye Doucouré headed in to give Watford all 3 points at Carrow Road. 7 defeats in a row now. It's really bad. I don't think I've ever had a run this bad at the start of the season so far. But we do take on Brighton away from home in this episode, and really the only reason I've picked it is because I want to try and make as many episodes as possible, and due to the fact that of our bad run of form, I feel like I'm not going to be in the job that much longer. No! Now, I had realised that I hadn't shown you the club vision screen from the start of the save, and, well, basically, they wanted me to play possession football, which I'm doing really well, even though we are bottom of the league, and they do want me to fight bravely against relegation, which, at the moment, we're not doing very well at, but, I mean, I've still got an E. I'm an E. I got an E, and then the notable highlights, apparently there's nothing to highlight so far. I can actually agree with them on that point. Now, I haven't shown you the social feed recently, but apparently the fans are quite happy with the way that we kept the ball, despite the fact we conceded twice and once again managed not to score in a game. Who knew that putting a circular object into the back of a net is the hardest thing to do for my football side? And also, it's nice to see that some of the Norwich fans are being very positive at the moment, despite the fact that we are struggling in the league at the moment, because Darcy said that we are winning our next game. That was the game after the West Ham defeat, which was the Watford defeat, so thanks Darcy for that. Jamal Lewis's scintillating form so far this season has seen calls for him to be dropped from the Northern Ireland squad, which is great news for us because it means that he has even more chance of not doing any assists or anything of note in any of the games that I live commentate. I've just lied to you there because I said I live commentate the games, which doesn't happen on this series just because I don't want you to hear me go mentally insane. And for those that do want to hear me go mentally insane, this isn't the series for you. But don't click off the video because I need the views. So if you could just stay here for the next 5 minutes while I lose the next game again, that'd be fantastic. After only 6 games this season, I already had questions about my tactics, my results, and everything else I've done so far at this football club from some former Norwich players. All I can say to those critics is that there's 32 games left to play. I mean, I might be relegated after about 15 of those games, but the fight is still on for us. Nigel Pearson also said before our game against Watford that he thinks we're going to struggle this year. Does everyone have it out for me so far? Why does everyone want me to struggle? I mean, answers in the comment section below. Why do you think you like seeing me struggle? I'm sure it's more frustrating than it is enjoyable. So I tried my best to keep my job because I said that I really enjoy working with Delia Smith. I mean, I've not met her in person and she won't return any of my calls, but I really do enjoy working with her. And if she could return my calls anytime soon, that'd be great because the keys that I've got for the office don't seem to be working anymore. I'm not sure if someone's changed the locks. In order to shore up our defence, because so far that has been our weakest point this year, I know, I've somehow worked out our weakest point, despite the fact that we've got about 15 weakest points at the moment. So I have signed Radi Jaidi on as a defensive coach. He was managing the team in the US 3rd or 4th tier, so clearly he's got the experience to bring to the Premier League. And I also signed Jaidi despite the fact I was only trying to sign British coaches because, I mean, all the British coaches I was trying to sign were all money grabbers. And also he played under Sam Allardyce, which is as British as you can get in this country. But I did also sign a goalkeeping coach in Lee Turner from Millwall, and he's British, so I've got some more backroom experience there. And also because the goalkeeping situation is absolutely dire. We can't stop conceding goals. I really need to sort it out and actually take this save seriously. Actually, scrap that. I have been taking this save seriously. My team won't take this game seriously. I also got a news article in my inbox that told me that Darren Ferguson had been sacked as Peterborough manager, and I feel like they were trying to tell me something. I mean, I don't know what the hidden message in there is, but I'm sure one of you can figure it out. And finally, some good news is that Amy Smallwood has been promoted to Head of Sports Science because we didn't have one. I don't actually remember giving her that contract, so who actually offered that to her? And also I'm hoping it gets me in there because I've been single for way too long and I feel like she's probably the best person for me. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think this content would go this way where I'm starting to hit on women that don't actually exist and only exist in the Football Manager world. I feel like this channel is hitting new lows.
Not being funny, what the fuck is going on?
But anyway, into our game against Brighton away from home, and I've adopted the 4-2-3-1 formation I started the season with just because I feel like this is the best chance we have of getting a result from this game. Tim Krul starts off in goal once again. He's the only keeper I've got of any real quality, so I feel like he's going to be appearing on the series a lot more than today. Christopher Zimmerman plays at centre-back alongside Ben Godfrey as Tilo Kehrer is dropped to the bench. With the midfield too, Tom Tribal makes his first appearance on the series as he plays alongside Mario Vrancic in the centre midfield. Marco Stiperman also makes his first appearance of the series as he plays in the number 10 role with Buendia and Campbell playing alongside him. And Steve Mounier returns to the lineup despite the fact that he hasn't scored a single goal since he arrived. But then again, neither has Joseph Dermich either. Looking at Brighton's team, it doesn't really bring me any fear whatsoever. I mean, they have got Neil Mopai and Aaron Moy, you know, two Huddersfield legends under my last series. But it's not really a team that I'm too worried about. Like, I feel like this is a team we can definitely get something against. The team talk before the match also went really well for the first time this season as the team reacted very positively to my words of encouragement, which was basically, just don't lose, please. The first highlight went to Brighton after 16 minutes, and after some good play down the right-hand side by them, Charlotto managed to play the ball into the box for Pascal Gross, who fired it straight at Tim Krul. And after Todd Cantwell saw his shot blocked, Mario Vrancic picked up the ball and played the ball into the box for Steve Mounier to head at the bar. I mean, he was very close to his first goal in Norwich colours. And the best way for us to set up against Brighton was to play on the counter-attack, and Marco Stiperman led a great counter-attack before he was then tackled and then gave the ball away. But we did pick up the ball, and possession football is very key to our side. And after Todd Cantwell played it to Jamal Lewis then found Todd Cantwell, who fired it at Matt Ryan, and he pushed it wide of the post. We were really close to scoring there. Pascal Gross then had a free kick punched out by Tim Krul, which found Neil Mopai, who fired it into the back of the net. What is the point? What really is the point in this team? Like, we just can't keep a clean sheet at all. Not much happened in the rest of the first half as we went in at the break a 1-0 down at half time, but we weren't doing too badly. I mean, in terms of the stats, we were quite equal with Brighton. And into the second half, only after 40 seconds, Pascal Gross played the ball into the box, but Tim Krul managed to catch the ball and then fired it out wide for Emi Buendia, who then took the ball and then ran a good 40 yards before putting in a cross for Todd Cantwell to head into the back of the net and give us a much-deserved equaliser. It's taken us a minute in the second half to score. We finally scored a goal. Honestly, you wouldn't believe the amount of relief that brought me. And probably to the Norwich fans that paid a lot of money to get here, because bloody hell, that is a miracle in itself. It wasn't over yet as Brighton led an attack down the left-hand side, and Solly March's cross found Charlotto at the back post, but he headed it wide. And then only a minute later, Emi Buendia's corner was then headed out, and it found its way to Todd Cantwell, who fired a shot straight at Matt Ryan. I mean, I feel like the chances are going to come to us where we're going to score. And the big chance of the game did come as Max Aarons played it to Dudar, who came off the bench, and he fired it wide. What a waste of an opportunity. And that was it. We had managed to secure our first point of the season. It's taken 3 episodes and 7 games to do that. 7 league games to get 1 point on the board. Is this one of the greatest achievements in my life? I would probably say so. Maybe, who knows, next episode we might get a win. Okay, baby steps, Proudy, baby steps. You know, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves now.